Alleluia, 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 alleluia. The Lord be with you. And with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Glory to you, Lord. On the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene ran and went to Simon Peter and to the other disciple whom Jesus loved and told them, "They have taken the Lord from the tomb, and we do not know where they put him." So Peter and the other disciple went out and came to the tomb. They both ran, but the other disciple ran faster than Peter and arrived at the tomb first. He bent down and saw the burial cloths there, but he did not go in. When Simon Peter arrived after him, he went into the tomb and saw the burial cloths there, and the cloth that had covered his head, not with the burial cloths, but rolled up in a separate place. Then the other disciple also went in, the one who had arrived at the tomb first, and he saw and believed. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
On the third day in the Christmas octave, we celebrate the feast of St. John the Evangelist. So there is a church in downtown Indianapolis if you want to go and make a pilgrimage and have an indulgence for going there on the feast day, especially if you make it to confession. They offer confessions every day at noon at St. John the Evangelist in Indianapolis. St. John the Evangelist is not the same John as St. John the Baptist, which I recently got a text from one of our parishioners sharing with me that she never realized that they were not the same person. Right? St. John the Baptist was martyred before Christ was even martyred. Right? St. John the Evangelist he was also a martyr, except for the fact that when they tried to kill him, he kept surviving. They tried to poison him. They tried to boil him alive. Still, if you go to Rome today, St. John Lateran, which is basically around the same area where St. John preached, you can still see the place where they tried to boil him alive. It's just outside of the basilica there. And so because they could not kill him, he ended up in exile. And that's where he received the vision of the apocalypse. So St. John, out of all the 12 apostles, he's the only one who did not die a premature death at the hands of martyrdom. He lived into his old age, probably into his 90s. And something that's really interesting about that is if you think about St. John compared to the other apostles. St. John was a young man at the time that he was called by Christ. That's why you can almost always tell which one is John when you see paintings of the apostles. He's the one who looks much younger than everybody else. And so think about what that must have been like for St. John. For all those years, when Peter had been martyred, when James had been martyred, when so many of the other apostles had gone to foreign lands and had also given their lives for the faith. For many years and decades, St. John was the only remaining apostle alive. Think about what that must have been like for him. To have those 3 years with Jesus and the other apostles, and then to have so many years in isolation as the only one who remembered, who was there. Pretty remarkable when you think about that. St. John is also, in many artistic depictions and in iconography, he's often depicted with an eagle. He's depicted with an eagle because the early church fathers saw that when you read St. John's writings, it's not so much about the practical details, the historical facts of what happened, but rather it's like a theological reflection, right? It's John contemplating the mysteries of what Christ accomplished. So his gospel looks very different than the other gospels because he's giving the deeper meaning of Christ's ministry. St. John was really the original contemplative in the church. So it's always good for us to think about that on his feast day. Are we contemplatives? Do we try to see the deeper meaning of things? Do we try to see how God is at work even in the ordinary day-to-day things that happen to us? Are we learning how to see with contemplative eyes? St. John is a great example of this to us.